All right, buckle up, because today we are diving deep into Sportybet Instant Virtuals.
Okay.
You know those super fast-paced simulated games where you can bet on anything from virtual football to horse racing?
Mm-hmm.
We're tackling this topic because you guys sent us a YouTube video
Oh, cool.
with a self-proclaimed legendary tipster who claims to have found the secret to winning big
Interesting.
on these games.
So is this like one of those I'm going to make you rich kind of things?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
They call their viewers the winning family.
Wow.
Talk about all these secret tricks, even show themselves supposedly winning huge amounts of money from just a small starting bet.
Yeah, those are always.
It's really captivating stuff.
Yeah,
But I'm definitely a little bit skeptical.
I think that's smart.
What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, anytime someone promises easy money,
Right.
you got to be a little careful.
Exactly.
Let's hear about some of these strategies, though.
Okay, so one of the tricks they highlight is betting on over 5.5 goals in the German league.
German league. Okay.
Yeah, and they claim this like almost guarantees a win,
Wow.
especially if you target games with high odds in the under section.
Okay, so they're saying like bet on the opposite of what the odds are suggesting.
Yeah, basically.
Interesting.
What's the logic there?
I don't know.
Is there any reason to think these virtual games might be more prone to high scores?
Well, it could be that the virtual games,
Yeah.
They're programmed to be more exciting.
Great.
Weenies.
Faster paced?
Yeah.
Tester paced?
Mm-hmm.
More action packed?
Yeah?
And so maybe that just naturally leads to higher scores.
Oh, that's interesting.
But of course, we'd have to look at a lot more data to know for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And even if there is a tendency towards high scores, it's not a guarantee
Right.
every single time.
So it's not as easy as just betting on over 5.5 goals and watching the money roll in.
If only it were that simple,
Well,
right?
no.
It'd be nice.
Yeah. But unfortunately, there's this thing called the house edge.
Yes.
That means that over time,
Yeah.
regardless of any strategies,
Right.
the platform is going to make money.
Right. So even if there is that pattern,
Yeah,
it's still risky.
definitely.
Okay, what about some of the other tricks that they mentioned?
Let's hear them.
I noticed they talk about focusing on specific teams
Okay.
for home wins, like BVB,
Mm-hmm.
BMU, and LVE.
Okay, so specific teams for home wins.
Yeah, is there any logic to that? Do these virtual teams actually have strengths and weaknesses?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because these are all simulations.
Yeah.
It's possible that some of the virtual teams are programmed to be stronger at home.
Interesting.
Maybe certain matchups are statistically
Yeah,
more favorable for one team or the other.
that would make sense.
But again, you'd need data to figure that out.
Right.
You can't just guess.
Exactly. And they don't really provide any of that data.
Yeah, so there's like, trust me,
Yeah, it's just like
these teams are going to win.
these teams win.
Okay.
But I did notice that they do include some disclaimers.
Oh, okay.
They say things like, this might not work for everyone.
Yeah.
Timing is important.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like they're covering their bases
Right.
while still making these really bold promises.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
What do you make of that?
I think it's common
Yeah.
to include those kinds of disclaimers
Mhm.
because then they can always point back and say, well, I told you it might not work.
Exactly.
Which you lose.
Yeah, so it's almost like they're saying these are foolproof tricks,
Mm-hmm.
but you also might lose.
Yeah, kind of a mixed message.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
I think it raises some questions about how transparent this kind of content really is.
Mm.
And, the ethical side of it, too.
Yeah, because on the one hand,
Yeah.
they're presenting these strategies as like guaranteed paths to success,
Right.
but then they're also saying there's a risk of losing.
Yeah. And that can be misleading,
Yeah,
especially for people who are new to betting
right.
or who are easily swayed by the promise of easy money.
Exactly. And they really play up that promise of easy money. The whole video is like really hyped up,
Yeah.
fast-paced, catchy slogans, promises of joining this like winning family.
Yeah, like you're going to be part of this elite group if you just follow my advice.
How do you think that style influences viewers?
Oh, I think it definitely taps into that,
Yeah.
like instant gratification thing.
Wow.
The idea of getting something for nothing.
Right.
And the music
Yeah.
and the fast editing and the
Yeah.
community aspect.
Yeah.
It's all very carefully designed
Yeah.
to get you excited,
Right.
make you feel like you're part of something.
Yeah, like you're special.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they combine that with the promises of easy money.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and it can lead to risky behavior.
Definitely. And it's interesting because They also encourage viewers to play multiple games,
Okay.
even while they're warning against placing single bets.
So is that like a contradiction?
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah.
On the one hand, they're saying these tricks are foolproof,
Right.
but then they're also suggesting spreading your bets,
Uh-huh.
which implies that no single strategy is guaranteed to work.
Yeah. So which one is it?
It's very confusing.
It's definitely mixed messages.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So should we just dismiss everything this tipster is saying?
Well, not necessarily. I
Okay.
mean, maybe some of their strategies have some basis in reality,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it's probably not as simple as they're making it sound.
Right. So we need to look a little deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So we've unpacked the tipster's claims,
Mm-hmm.
the catchy language,
Mm-hmm.
the disclaimers, the
Yeah.
contradictions.
Okay.
But the real question is, do any of these strategies actually hold any weight?
That's the big question,
Yeah.
right?
And we'll explore that further
Okay.
in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
All right. So we really broke down all those claims from the legendary tipster.
Yeah, we did.
But let's get into like the nuts and bolts of Sportybet instant virtuals themselves.
Okay.
Are there any patterns or quirks we should be aware of? Because these aren't real life matches, right?
Right. They're all simulations.
So is there a chance that the algorithms behind these games
Yeah.
could lead to predictable outcomes?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Because they're simulated.
Yeah.
There's a possibility
Yeah.
that the algorithms could have like biases or
Yeah.
patterns
Okay.
that someone could figure out.
So it's not totally out of the question that
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
with enough analysis
Right.
could find those patterns
Mm-hmm.
and use them.
To make money.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
It is.
But wouldn't Sportybet be aware of that?
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't want people...
Figuring out their algorithms.
Yeah, wouldn't they constantly be, like, tweaking them
Yeah, I would imagine they
Yeah.
would be.
to stop people from winning too much?
Exactly, because they have to keep it unpredictable.
Right.
Right.
To keep
Right.
people engaged.
Yeah. And also, they got to maintain that house edge.
Right, exactly.
So it's a balance, for
Yeah.
sure.
So even if you find a pattern,
Mm-hmm.
it might only work for a little while
Yeah, you're right.
before they tweak the algorithm again.
Exactly.
Wow, okay.
It's a constantly evolving thing.
It's like a cat and mouse game.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit.
Okay.
We talked about the technical stuff,
Yeah.
but what about like the human element?
Right. The psychology.
Yeah, the psychology of gambling.
Yeah. How does that all play in?
Yeah, especially with these get-rich-quick schemes.
Mm-hmm. That's really important
Yeah.
because easy money,
Yeah.
thrill of the unknown,
Hmm.
the dopamine rush of a win, these are powerful forces
Yeah.
that affect our decision making.
So even if you like understand the risks,
Yeah.
like logically,
Right.
you could still make like irrational bets.
Absolutely. Our brains are wired
Yeah.
to seek out rewards.
Right.
So when you win,
Mm-hmm.
even a small amount,
Yeah.
your brain releases dopamine,
Oh, okay.
which makes you feel good,
Mhm.
and that can make it really hard
To
to
stop,
stop.
even when you know you should.
So our brains are kind of tricking us
Yeah, in a way.
into thinking we're winning,
Mm-hmm.
even when we're not.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And that's why responsible gambling is so important.
Yeah.
Setting limits,
Right.
sticking to a budget,
Mm-hmm.
not chasing losses.
Yeah, don't try to win back what you've already lost.
Exactly.
Okay. And I imagine with these instant virtuals,
Oh, yeah.
it's even more intense.
Definitely.
Right, because it's so fast.
Yeah. It's like constant excitement,
Mm-hmm.
win or lose.
Right. You're getting that dopamine rush. Uh-huh.
All the time.
Yeah, that speed and immediacy.
Yeah.
It can be really addictive.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
So it's like this perfect storm.
it is.
You have the easy money,
Mhm.
you have the dopamine,
Uh-huh.
and you have the speed,
Yeah, and that's a tough combo
Yeah.
to resist.
especially for people who are
Yeah.
more susceptible to addiction.
Absolutely.
This is all really fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm wondering
Yeah.
if we're getting a little too in the weeds here.
Yeah.
Like, what does this all actually mean?
Right.
For the listener who sent us the video,
Good question.
what are the practical takeaways?
Okay, so let's boil it down.
Okay.
First,
Yeah.
Sportybet instant virtuals,
Mm-hmm.
like any form of gambling,
Right.
has risk.
Okay.
The house edge means that they're designed to profit.
Okay. So even if those tricks work
Yeah.
in the short term,
Mm-hmm.
the odds are against you
Over the long haul.
over the long haul. Okay.
Second, remember all that psychology stuff?
Mm-hmm.
The thrill of winning
Yeah.
can cloud your judgment. And make you do things you wouldn't normally do.
So set limits.
Exactly.
Stick to a budget. Don't chase losses.
Right.
Yeah,
And
okay.
third,
Mhm.
be skeptical of anyone who promises you guaranteed wins.
Right, especially online.
Yeah, especially online.
Okay.
Do your research,
Mm-hmm.
understand the game,
Yeah,
and never bet more than you can afford to lose.
great advice.
Yeah, I think that's key.
Okay, so we talked about the algorithms.
Yeah.
The psychology,
Mm-hmm.
the importance of being skeptical,
Mm-hmm.
but we still haven't answered the big question.
Yeah, you're right.
Do any of the legendary tipster strategies actually work?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
The last part.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive, and the big question is still out there.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet.
Do any of these legendary tipster strategies actually work?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Right. Is there a guaranteed system?
Yeah, everyone wants to know the secret.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's be real. Is there any chance
Hmm.
that someone could actually crack the code?
Honestly,
Yeah.
it's highly unlikely.
Okay.
I mean, remember, these
Yeah.
platforms are designed to be unpredictable.
Right.
The house always has that little edge.
So even if you find a pattern,
Yeah,
it's probably going to be short-lived.
exactly. It's tough to exploit them consistently.
So are those tricks just illusions then?
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have found something
Right.
in a small set of data,
Right.
but that doesn't mean it's going to hold up over time.
So just because something happened a few times doesn't
No.
mean it's a pattern?
Exactly. Correlation doesn't equal causation.
Right. So maybe this tipster believes in these strategies,
Right.
but they're only seeing what they want to see.
It's confirmation bias.
Oh, confirmation bias.
Yeah, you see what confirms your beliefs,
Yeah.
and you ignore the rest.
So they might only remember the times they won.
Exactly, even if they're losing more often.
Wow. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, you believe you found a system.
Yeah.
You bet accordingly. You only remember the wins.
And then you think you're a genius,
Right, and you keep betting.
even though you're losing money.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the danger of those flashy promises.
Yeah, and testimonials.
People get caught up.
Right, it's easy to get swept up in it.
Yeah, it's important to stay skeptical.
Okay, so what's the best way to approach this then?
Well, if those guarantees aren't real,
Yeah.
it's about changing your mindset.
Okay.
Instead of trying to beat the system,
Yeah.
just enjoy the experience.
So it's more about entertainment
Yeah, exactly.
than getting rich.
If you have that mindset,
Mm-hmm.
you won't be as tempted
By those promises.
and you'll make better decisions.
That's really good advice.
Thanks.
I try.
Okay, I think we covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we did.
The technical stuff,
Mhm.
the psychology.
The importance of skepticism.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Just remember, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Understand the game.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware of your biases.
Okay.
And always gamble responsibly.
Well said. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into Sportybet Instant Virtuals.
It was a good one.
It was a fun one. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new.
Yeah.
Remember, when it comes to betting, the best strategy is an informed one.
Couldn't agree more.
Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and most importantly, stay in control.